Well, how we doing, everybody? So today, as you can see, this is a different game. This is called Palia, Palia, depending on who you talk to. They are calling it a Cozy MMO, although the first M is very relative. There's no massively anything about this. And I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it, see if this might be for you to play in downtime when you have nothing else to do, or you're waiting on content for a game that you're playing at the moment. So, this is free. You can get in, you can play the game, you can do all the things, and it doesn't cost you a single cent. There is a cash shop, and we can go into the cash shop. It is at this moment in time, and so far the developers have stated that it's going to only ever be cosmetics, but it is a bit pricey. This bad boy right here, for example, is about $50 for 3 separate outfits if you buy the bundle. So it's not cheap, and it's got some pretty cool looking outfits. Your base, that's pretty much it. So far, we haven't figured out yet whether or not additional clothing items will be in the game with progression. I haven't gotten all terribly that far into the game, so maybe there will be others, but there's not a lot you can do at this moment in time. They have a wardrobe in the game, and you can go in and you can change things, hairstyles. You can change colors of things. I mean, it is pretty well customizable, but it still just doesn't give you much. Like, no hat comes base. Pretty much everything else is either something you have to earn in the game. I'm pretty sure the Seabreeze Sun outfit is part of a kind of like progression mechanic in the game. And a lot of this stuff, Buccaneer set, for example, is something you have to buy in the cash shop. But you get a reasonable amount of options before you have to go into the I gotta buy it kind of stuff. Couple shorts, you want to be summertime, you want to have thigh highs, whatever. So you do have a little bit in option, but it isn't that great in scope. You are going to be, now this is just my starter house. I haven't done that much because the game's only been out 5 days now, and this consumes your life, like dead serious. You're sitting here watering these things until you level up higher and you can get the deal that waters all of them at once. You're just watering your plants all the time. Even if you set up the plot so that it self-waters, or auto-waters, I should say, it's still, it's a lot of work. Like, I have to grab some of them now. There's a lot of crafting going on in this game. So you are going to be doing a whole heap and lot. And mind you, I haven't learned everything. And just look at all this stuff. If I were to guess, I would say I've probably learned. I'm not even sure how much there is, but I've probably learned 30 or 40% of the patterns. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So you also have cooking. Cooking requires materials. You got to grill, and you can grill certain things that can go there. The food is not for buffs like what you're used to. The food is for this guy right down here, focus. So as long as you use food is 50 focus, or it's 187 focus. It fills this meter up to whatever extent you've eaten, and then every time you use a skill, mining, you're gathering, or sorry, that's gardening, you're gathering something, cutting down a tree is considered gathering, you're building furniture, etc., it will consume a portion of this bar and feed additional XP into your skill. So it's a way to increase how quickly, and it's based off of this right down here. Your focus bonus is 82%. That's because I have increased it with this renown. Renown, consider it to be like appreciation of your reputation with the NPCs in the game, the villagers. You do something nice for them, you finish a quest for them, and they give you some amount of renown. It might be nothing, it might be 5, it might be 25 or something. Complete a big quest, it might be even more. So you do get the ability to increase either the size of this pool or the percentage, which then in turn grows these faster. And it's a grind. This game is nothing but a grind. I was just going to show you. You've got additional things that you have to actually make where, well, let's make one right now to show you kind of what's involved in making some of the food in this game. So you come over here, and now I'm going to chop some onions. So there's little mini games. This can be done together with other players, and if you do that with other players, everybody gets the amount of food. So I just got 3 hearty vegetable soup, and if there were 2 other players, say one person chopped and one person stirred it, and of course it's my plot, so I had the ingredients, all 3 of us will get 3. So at its face, you are farming things. You're farming wood, so you got to go cut down trees. You get the raw wood for the trees, then you use some form of a sawmill to make planks. The planks, in turn, are used to create most of the things that I showed you in the crafting station or the workbench. So you'll use planks to create this thing or that thing. Sometimes it uses raw wood. Or you have ore, for example, and you have different types where you're going to do... It's the same old trope in most games. You've got stone and copper and iron, and then other stuff that's special to this game, Palia more. And then you got stone bricks and clay bricks or ceramic bricks from clay and things like that, and they make different types of things. You can even make stuff like glass in the game and make light bulbs because there are actual lights, and yes, they require a light bulb and a little bit of glass. You can even get seeds from your various farming materials, your vegetables and whatnot, and then use those to replant this. I'm not going to harvest right now because then I'd have to replant it all. You can have up to 8. It seems to be up to 8 of everything. So like up to 8 of the storage containers, which you can see I have 6,600, but that's... We don't know if it's a cheat or if it's intended, and I'll show you why. So I have... It's all pooled together, right? So I have 8 storage boxes on this plot right here. But you get 2 plots to start with, and then the third plot, if you want it, costs 50,000 gold. So if I go to this storage plot, I now have 8 additional boxes, and these are the more advanced box because you can't put the same ones. So you can actually get additional. So storage really isn't too big of a problem in the game. It's a little annoying kind of early on just because of the value you have, how much money you have. And that comes from doing these kinds of things. You can catch bugs. Go out there, there's a bug flying around, you can catch it. You can go fishing. So you find a body of water that's deep enough and you can fish up some fish. You can chop trees down. I'm not going to do it, but you can chop a tree down. You can mine for ore, rocks, various things. I'm also not going to take it totally, but you can do that. And each of these tasks obviously gives you a little bit of XP towards your crafting level. Your player level is the combination of everything. And then it's all because of what you see in front of me, your housing. You are building your own personal, I don't know if you want to call it a community, but your own personal existence in this game. And you go out into the world, and we are going to do that. Now, hopefully it does not lag me out, because server stability is one problem that Singularity 6 is having with this game. It has apparently been a problem for a while, even before the open beta, which this is beta. You can consider it to be like an early access game for what you would look at on Steam or GOG. Here they call it beta. So I'm going to come out here into the open world, and you can see we have a map. So standard fare, this is a zone. If I go through this little dude, there'll be another zone over there. It's a lot bigger. It's twice the size of this one. And then you have all these villagers around. So this gal Tish down here wants to talk to me, but it's like 2 in the morning, so it's going to be harder to talk to her. We'll go down there and talk to... You do get a little kite flyer, kind of like Zelda. That is the only, quote, fast travel that you have. Excuse me. Faster than running travel. You can go to this board. Is that the right board? That's not the right board. You can go to this thing right there, the stables, and actually teleport at a cost to various locations. Otherwise, this is exactly how you're traveling. So you can chat up the NPCs. They all have different sleep schedules. They all have different jobs within the village, different things you can do. Chatting with them every single day, which is 1 hour of real life, will get you a little bit of reputation. You can see I'm level 2 of 4 with her. I am not romanced with her. You can give them gifts. I don't have anything she wants, but you can give them gifts. That further raises it up. And then if you see here, each time you raise up to, so level 2, level 3, level 4, you get additional options, additional quests, things you can do. It's interesting, but it is a very serious grind. So if you look at all these various NPCs that all have houses all scattered around, they're all doing different things, they all sleep at different times or are awake at different times, and every single one real life hour you have to go and talk to them if you want to raise up this level. And every 1 week, which is a Monday reset, you need to give them a gift so that you can continue raising your level. You can actually give them a gift every real human day, and I know this is getting confusing. 1 hour is the game day, 24-hour real life is the human day. They can only take a gift in the human day, but everything else happens once a game day. And then there's the once a week stuff. So you would be having to speak to, if you want to raise your rep, you're speaking to every single one. This is part of the grind. Every single person, every 1 hour of real life. But you also have to do things like take care of your farming plot. You also have to, like, I've got mail that just showed up when it hit 3 o'clock. So I gotta go do that. I've got quests I gotta do. But I gotta stop and I gotta go to talk to everybody every hour. Otherwise I'm falling behind in my rep. I have to go farm materials. So I gotta get out there and cut trees down and do all that stuff. Or I gotta come over here and fish. And fishing takes a long time. It's not that it's an issue of reeling it in. And part of the cozy part is you can fish together. Come out here, toss a line. It's relaxing. I mean, I don't dislike the fishing. I'll show you. That dude looks like he caught himself a little shark. I mean, it really looks like a little shark. And nope, there it is. So the fish fights you, trying to get it back. And you see that little cat that he's got there. So I just got a spotted bullhead. And he's a star, so he's worth more. He's worth 31 gold. So that's something I would sell if I didn't need it for something else. And now you can see up in my... Oh, you can't see it on that screen. Look up in the top left where it says my name. Underneath that I have this green circle. Every time someone catches a fish while I'm standing by them and I'm catching fish, that'll go up to level 5. And I think what that does is makes it easier for you to reel fish in. So that's part of the multiplayer because there is no actual competitive play in this game. The only competitive part, so let's say, alright, let's say I was coming over here and I was running up to chop this tree, and let's say this tree happened to have this blue-purple swirl on it, which means it's a special tree. And I got here just a little bit too late, so they had just cut it down before I got there. Well, I don't get any credit for that, and I have to wait for one of those to spawn somewhere else in this zone in order for me to get that kind of thing. That is the only competitive portion of the game. Everything else, it's a single-player game where you have the option of seeing other players hanging out and doing their own single-player game, essentially. There is guilds of sorts. It's called community. You can set up your own community. You can have up to 25. That is the, I don't know if you want to call it a cap that they have on their server base, which is 25. Maybe that's because they don't want any more than that on a single housing plot at the same time, because you can set up permissions to allow others, like let's say you have someone in your little community that's way better at building because they just know how to put the knickknacks and they know how to do everything, and you're just absolute crap at it, right? So you can set the permissions and they become the builder of it, and you and everybody else are just feeding it materials, and they're over there building all kinds of crazy stuff, and they're putting it in your shop for you to build, or your housing plot for you to build. It is not like a guild plot, if that makes any sense. It's still your own personal housing. There is hunting in the game. I'll show you that a little bit. And everything ranks up. You know, you start with crappy versions of everything you see there, and it gets better and better as you do things in the game. That little chopper right there, I'm going to leave him be. Let's show you the deer. They're called sarnuks. And people are farming the sarnuks at the moment because they are not out here. Yeah, they are. I see some over there. Nope, I do not see some over there. I'm a liar. Alright. We'll find one. And you got stuff like mushrooms. Hey, I picked up a mushroom. You can cook that mushroom and do stuff with it. Cook it by itself. You can literally eat it by itself if you want to get... I'll show you. I just heard a deer. So at 5 focus points, or I can cook it and make, for example, this creamy carrot soup and get quite a bit more. Where'd he go? I heard him. He's right next to me. So there are also a few, like... Oh, there he is. So they'll calm down at some point, and you just shoot them, and you go... When you gain your XP is when you pick this up. And so let's say that person's going to shoot. If I shoot near that deer, and they actually hit the deer, I would also get credit because I fired near it. What else is there? So... I guess I'll run up here and I'll show you the other zone real quick. My understanding is there's going to be additional zones down the road. There's going to be additional all kinds of content coming down the road, but at current we just have 2 zones. The second zone's pretty large, so it does give you a fair bit to do. But really, your entire time, I'm putting this in air quotes, playing the game, you are farming. You're farming materials, you're farming reputation with the NPCs, you're farming literally farm plots on your land. So the other zone is about this size, this one's double that. So it's got all kinds of things, and they do pretty well with elevation. I'll show you a little bit up here. Like, we can't get up onto that right there, but you can get up to some of that portion. You can get up all up there. and they do pretty well with verticality, so it gives you some options. You get, this zone gives you different trees to cut. It gives you different fish to fish. They have a couple different creatures to go and hunt. And then there is a main storyline. So if I hit J over here, it doesn't show me at the current because I don't have one. There are ruins. Let's see. Flooded Fortress is probably going to be a portion at some point. Not the lighthouse. This ruins also because there's a spot we can't get into just yet. So there are sections that you will be tasked to find things like riddles. So it'll say something about where do people go when they thirst for knowledge. You're going to think, oh, it's a school or a library. It was literally a water fountain in that case. And then there's some kind of a plaque, and you read the plaque, and then it continues on, and it gives you a new riddle, and you got to solve that. So there is progression. It does have you doing a few things here and there. Quests tend to be, I mean, nothing's game breaking. It's the same kind of stuff you're used to. So it's go, you can see on my screen, go bring me 25 of that fertilizer. Find a shep. That just means I need to find somebody that's willing to court me, but I'm not high enough level with them yet. You can see right above my head, that's a little flower node. So is that one. Oh, bugs. I'll show you the bugs. So there's bug catching in this game. And so like you see this little butterfly right here, right? You take this little smoke bomb, toss it on him. If it works, you get this loot. And so now I have a common blue butterfly. If I go back to my home, I will show you that if they show up as a star, so it's a better version, because it's not always epic or anything, sometimes they can be a common. But if it's a star, you can actually bottle it, for lack of better term, and you can put them in your house. So there's a butterfly, or that's a moth, excuse me. There's a butterfly. There's a dung beetle, maybe. You know, you got dragonflies over there. There's a what we're calling a firefly, but there's a snail, a millipede, a crab. You even got fish. So when you pull it out of your bag, if it's a star... Oh, I have one. Okay, we'll do that. I already have this guy out, but we're going to do it anyway. So I can show you. You can pull it out, and this will stand on other things like this right here. Or you can put it in, later down the road, you'll be able to get an aquarium. You can put it inside that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's cool because you can do different things with it. Decorate your house however you like. Like I said, I haven't gone to any full effort with this yet. I'm just basically getting started. The house has so many options. It's absolute insanity. I can change all the window styles. I can change the way the door looks. I can change the wallpaper, the floor, you name it. Add lights on those beams coming down. Add rooms, add hallways. Of course, all of it costs money. But I can do all of those things that I want to do. House. I don't have anything that I can change yet because I haven't bought any of them yet. But once you do, you can do all kinds. Like I can make this thin window a big wide window, or I can put two windows, or make this narrow window a solid wall because I want to hang more trophies up on it or something like that. It doesn't matter. You can do anything and everything your little heart content that you can think of. And I believe you can have a total of 8 buildings. So this house... If I put a hallway right here, that's a building. If I put a small room attached to the hallway, that's a building. If I put a large room on that side, that's a building, and a total of 8. So 8 chests, 8 farming plots, 8 housing spots, etc. and so forth. It's enjoyable. It's a decent time killer, especially when you have nothing else going on with your games. And you do get mail, by the way. I have mail. Totally forgot. Oh, this box sells stuff. Anything I put in this box, in every 30 real minutes, it'll sell it and I'll get that money. No, I don't want that Sarnock thing either. There we go. So let's see what I got for mail. Tish wants to talk to me. Oh. Oh, she's got new furniture. And that's another thing. You've got to, in order to get some of that furniture, I'll show you if I have the mats for something. So a lot of this you start with, a lot of this homestead. But every time you see this check mark, every time you make something you haven't made before, it gives you 3 separate options unless you run out. Now I can choose one of these 3 things to make. I already have something like that, so I'm going to try that because I don't have anything. And I just made a harvest wreath. And so now I have an item, which is there, that I can put out. I got this little, I don't know, pot, ladle, whatever that thing is. Milk pouring thing, something like that. The reason I have furniture outside is because my house is packed and it's kind of insanity. So yeah, take a look if you think it's something that would interest you. It is a very heavy grind type of game. It's possible once you get up into the higher levels, so once you get to where you're level 4 with everybody and you're not constantly having to worry about the grind, other than you want to keep gaining renown to increase your pool or your percentage. Other than that, there are ways already to optimize your field so it requires the least amount of watering or weeding. Other than that, it's a very, very heavy grindy game. You constantly always have something you need to get done, and it's literally every 1 hour of real life. Food's a little different. It grows based off of the day, 6 a.m. time frame. 6 a.m. in game, but it does take several days to actually grow. So that's more of a time investment than it is repeated time. Yep, check it out if you like. Free game, Palia, Palia. I think it's palia.com. I'll find it and I'll put it down in the description. Free game, a decent little time saver. It's enjoyable. It's got some problems. The climbing part of it needs some serious work. You get stuck on walls when you're trying to walk past them sometimes. When you get to the top, sometimes it gets stuck. Nodes will spawn out of bounds, so there'll be an invisible wall, and the node is on the other side of it. That's really annoying. The rare spawned stuff is so rare at this point that it's a serious nightmare trying to get to it, and that's what you need to make the exquisite type gear, which I just have 2 pieces of right now. What else? I would say, and server instability. I would say those are the only main gripes I have about it at this point. I'm fine with it being a Cozy MMO. I'm fine with it not really having a multiplayer aspect, although I think they should come up with some way to have... Oh, you cannot trade. Everything you earn, you have to earn it yourself. Everything you do in this game, there's no economy. You cannot trade with other players, even if they're on your friends list in your party. You do share nodes, so if I go up and chop the tree and someone else is chopping the tree, we both get the stuff for it, same as cooking or anything else. But if they, like I said, if they get it right before I get there, that tree's gone, and I have to wait or go to another tree. So I think they could work on the multiplayer aspect better. It does appear like the building aspect is quite in-depth, but it costs so much money, and that portion of it you can't buy. You can only buy outfits at this point. The RMT is specifically only for cosmetic looks of your character and nothing else. And so anything you build up with your house, your plot, your whatever, if you want to buy out all these things and go all the way to the max and go all 3 of these, you're doing that with your own grind in the game. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching.